Hello, this is at Sentinel Food Court Racer, Dan Wolfson coming to you from YouTube on three keywords: duality, neutrality, and frugality. Duality means the dual nature of things, the good and the bad, the pros and the cons. Neutrality is kind of a way to not be too involved with the yes or the no, the right or the wrong. And frugality is saving money. So recently on my YouTube channel, I brought up creatine and how I thought it was helping me to use less nicotine replacement therapy, to not combine my nicotine replacement therapy with too much coffee, uh, a little bit more energy, a little bit more strength and confidence. Well, that plan kind of backfired on me. And the reason that it did was because I rode up an incline of about 400 feet of elevation gain in the space of a mile, mile and a half, 3 days in a row in the midst of 10-mile bike rides. And by the end, my body was shot. And I went to have my occasional drink of alcohol with all of that concentrated creatine in my muscles, thinking that alcohol might be better than something like an energy drink, which does sometimes contain creatine things in it. So I thought, why would I need an energy drink? Why would I need coffee? I already feel strong. I already feel good. So I thought maybe I'll just go and get a nips of vodka. Not a good idea. I will say this much. I will say this. I talked to my clubhouse staff member about it today. Ironed the whole situation out, helped out at my clubhouse today, and added the element of meditation into my practice for the last 3 days, falling back on a coping technique much more healthy than alcohol, which really isn't that healthy and is especially unhealthy for me with my severe mental illness. Okay, neutrality. Neutrality is kind of how I expect, how I want in a perfect world my treaters to be. Somewhat neutral. In that, really not being too judgmental, accepting the good and the bad. And it's hard because I do things that are wrong. I've got credit cards before. I've spent money, too much money on certain things. Um, I've, smoked marijuana on my meds as a schizophrenic. And it's hard, like if I'm getting on the bus and I don't have the fare, I always want maybe the driver to be neutral and say, you know what, okay, you can take a ride, come on. You can take a ride. And they do that. Some are much more reluctant to be kind in the face of my lack of money, which then plays into frugality. I live on a relatively fixed income under the poverty level, sitting right under the poverty level, which is really hard. I live in a city, Metro Boston City, and it's expensive. There's people doing healthy things everywhere, things that can be expensive. Going to premier running shoe dealers, which I have in the past when I've worked at prevailing wage jobs. I've had the money to go get fitted for sneakers, and sometimes I just don't have that money, and I have to admit it. Sometimes I may see things advertised on Instagram, and I have to realize that I can't invest in all the pursuits of happiness, of joy that I may have once pursued, because I am not a sponsored athlete now. I have to really kind of save up and buy things pretty much on my own. So it's hard. So, duality, neutrality, and frugality. With that, I say, please, let's go in peace. Let's understand the topics of duality, the pros and cons, of neutrality, trying not to judge, and frugality. Let's stretch out that buckwheat that my neighbor gave me, and let's make that 3 pounds last us, because it's what you need to do. Cheers.